back to I Can't Believe You're Still Bitter
I am
with
still bitter.
Anna, where we spread the goss like butter. But before we begin, Brody, is there anyone you feel like you need to drag? Because as he's seated in the relocated dragon wagon,
There are 5 people, in fact, that I would like to drag.
go for it.
Because, honestly, they had the votes to keep me if they wanted to. Who's going? So who would vote against me the other 3? There were 10 people voting. No, 8 people voting. I needed 5 to stay because Sophie was kicking me out if I had 4. If I get Taylor, Holly, Adele, Lauren, Matthew, all of whom I have been completely honest with, worked with the entire game, had no ill will against any of them, they keep me, I stay. But they keep the shady ass Thomas, who has been saying all day how he doesn't need the coaches. Like, oh, well, the coaches are just set up to do this. Well, all of us agreed, final 7. Thomas agreed, oh, no, I don't like that. Because Thomas wants to win. And you know what they're doing? They're letting that side take majority. And you know what? I hope it wipes them out. Fuck it. I hope it wipes them out because that was dumb. They had the numbers if they wanted it, and they didn't want it. They didn't want to fight. I fought my ass off to stay. There's no reason Taylor, Holly, Adele in particular, who have all told me, Lauren too, there's no reason even Lauren. Matthew's the only one who I can kind of see wanting to go with Thomas. But still, that's 4 votes. 4 votes, it gives me a chance. It gives me a chance to plead my case to Sophie. And you know what? There was no need for it. It was unnecessary. Or at least tell, like, Matthew in particular would come up to me and he'd be like, well, I really mean it's difficult. I know it's a difficult decision, and it is. But I knew he wasn't voting for me to stay. I could tell. But the thing is, they just didn't think through. Because honestly, I don't think Thomas is going to help any of those coaches in this game. None of them. Well, there's no point for him. If he can flip and get majority on the other side, then he's going to take the newbies who no one's voting for to win. I won't vote for him to win. Hell, they got me out. I won't vote for him to win unless Sophie's there. Then I'll have a damn good case for Sophie because she had balls and put 2 coaches up where no one else would. So, no, they're just going to let Thomas run to the other side, do what they need. And if they want to be dumb and do that, so be it. You know what? As angry as I am, I'm happy I'm on jury. I don't think it was necessary. I think it was dumb on their part. But I can't be upset. This is where I wanted to at least get to, and I'm here. I don't think it's the right decision, but it's their decision, not mine.
I have some questions specifically for you.
Please ask a lot of questions. Like I want a lot. Like ask like 15. Like go for it.
I'll do my best. Okay, so I want to know what you think as to why they went with Thomas over you.
I think they went with Thomas because, honestly, I have no clue. Like, I can't think of a good reason besides the fact that he's Thomas Luke. And so if Sophie wins HOH or Mary-Kate wins HOH or one of them wins HOH, that they can still have some good on that side. That's the only reason I can think of. Because there are 2 people's names who are still in this house who I have thrown around. DeZinzio, and that was this round, to Sophie, because he said rounds ago, hey, I want Sophie out. So I told her that, and it was completely honest. Didn't lie one bit. I haven't lied at all this game, really. I lied. I'm trying to think of when I lied. Can't think of it. There's one moment. I remember thinking, I'm lying right now, and I don't want to do that. And that's the only time. I told DeZinzio even. I said, hey, I threw your name to Sophie because you threw her name to me a few rounds ago. And then when it comes to Mary-Kate, I've been wanting Mary-Kate out for a long time because she was trying to target the coaches. Nothing against her. Probably a smart move. But she was the name that got thrown around for a while. So I don't know where their logic was in it unless they all have secret alliances with Thomas. But then don't come over to me and say he's being super sketchy, I don't like it, and then vote me out when he's the one next to me. I can understand if it was Adele next to me or Taylor next to me. Vote me out. Not fine. They have done nothing wrong and they are better on both sides than I am. But Thomas really wasn't.
And about Sophie's.
Oh wait, I just need to go to the bathroom.
No, you're fine.
About Sophie's big move, how are you feeling about that?
Oh, it was a hell of a move.
It was a hell of a move.
It was a hell of a move.
That's what I thought.
It took balls.
Mhm.
And it was balls that no one else was willing to have. And do I think Thomas and I were the best choice? No, probably not. Honestly. Because she was the last one besides Zinzio who I wanted out on that side.
Some of the players were saying that had she moved it back a couple of rounds, it would have worked out more smoothly. How do you feel about that?
What do you mean moved it back? Like if it happened like
If
2
it
rounds
happened
ago?
later.
Later? Like further?
Later in the game.
I don't know. It really depends on who's in the house, who's not. Like I said, I think the lines were pretty clearly drawn on who I thought would vote which way. But I also understand if they don't get the numbers. But the thing is, I think they could have gotten the numbers if they wanted. They really could have. And so I just don't see.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't see why the trust between those numbers wasn't there. Bonus, let's go over the chance. I love this stuff.
Okay, I
And it doesn't, like, I'm not even mad. It's like the last Survivor. I played a good game. I don't think I could have changed anything to help my game besides talk to Sophie a little bit more. Besides that, I didn't lie. I stuck with what I said I was gonna do. I won one challenge. People are like, oh, it was a competition piece. It pisses me off because I've won one challenge. This makes like 5 ever in Big Brothers. In 3 Big Brothers, I've won like 5 challenges. Makes no sense, but whatever. That's their problem. I just don't get it. That's where I'm at.
A question I have while we're on this topic. Been waiting to ask you this question.
Good.
Do you feel like, and I know you feel like this, but I want you to elaborate. Do you feel like people's perception of you outside of the game changes your game once you're in?
Oh, it fucks me every time. It's always me versus Thomas, and Thomas is winning every time because one, he's a Luke. It is their house. Everyone knows him. They're much more comfortable with him than they ever will be me. I get that. That's part of the game. Not really, it shouldn't be, but it's an obstacle you can't avoid. So I can't blame anyone for that. What aggravates me is when people see me outside the game and I'm joking around and I'm super competitive and things, but they're gonna act as though that's how I am in this game. And while yes, I'm super competitive and ultimately I want to win, I'm not, like, if I'm gonna take you out, I'm gonna tell you. Or I won't talk to you even. Either I'm not gonna lie to you about it. And that's what people think I'm doing. Because people always like to joke about these things I do as though they're the truth, when 99% of the time it's high exaggerations or not the truth at all. And so ultimately that's just every game I can do well, but I'll never win again. It won't happen purely because of that. It would take a miracle. I'd have to play a flawless game to ever come close to winning a game because of that.
Okay. I want to ask you about your plea and everything you said.
Yeah.
That was a bold move. You said a lot of strong words.
Oh yeah.
What did you think? Did you, at that point, think you were going to be evicted?
Oh, I knew I was going to be
You were
evicted.
gonna be-
Everyone who was in my alliance, the 4, which still bothers me because it's half, and I know it's not much, and they're like, well, Thomas is going to target us if we do that. Thomas is targeting no matter what. You really think he's going to work with Taylor till the final 2? No. Think he's going to work with Lauren after she was close to me, or Adele after Adele's been saying he's been shady? No. Why would? It's dumb. It would be dumb because they don't have his back. And I never targeted Thomas. It came up because other people were saying it, and I knew I wasn't getting any of the non-coaches votes. That wasn't going to happen. If I was going to stay, it was because I was going to get 5 of those 6 coaches, all 5 coaches there, to vote me. That's the only way I was staying. And so, but I was going to make a plea to those other kids. And maybe it was a bad idea because they kind of threw the coaches under the bus. But you know what? I had to make some case. And honestly, I think it's a good case. It's particularly to DeZinzio because Thomas doesn't trust DeZinzio one lick. Well, yes, I threw DeZinzio's name out there. I also told him the truth about it. And so he's going to go to Thomas, who doesn't talk to him, and always complains outside the game how DeZinzio's shady, DeZinzio's going to do this, DeZinzio's going to do that. It just doesn't make sense. But I didn't expect their votes, but I'm gonna throw it out there. And then for the coaches, they wouldn't look me in the eyes, so I knew I was going. All the coaches, you look at them, the only one who paid attention is Matthew, and that's because while he was working with me, he wasn't sold on me over Thomas. Where the other 4 wanted me over Thomas, but they weren't going to do it unless they knew Matthew. And so instead of trying to convince Matthew to keep me, they would let me scrounge and try to save myself, which I knew wouldn't happen. Not in that case. You put me up against Thomas, it's going to go back to that perceived personalities from before the game. So yeah, I could have gotten 4, but I'm getting booted every time, especially if Sophie's HOH. Why the hell would she choose me over Thomas when she is really good friends with Thomas outside the game, and I talked to her like 3 times? It doesn't make sense. So it gives them an advantage, but it's an advantage I can't be mad about. It's part of the game, I know it coming in. It just sucks.
Okay, and about something that just keeps reappearing, coaches.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Why did that happen? How did that alliance come to be? What is going on with
Well,
that?
the coaches, and as being the first coach out, I can say this. The coaches all kind of came together and say, hey, look, we are obviously the best players here. And it was kind of hands down. Like, well, yes, those are great players who are still in, and even great players who got out earlier. Those 7 coaches are coaches for a reason. They know the game inside and out. They know how to convince people and talk to people like nobody else here. So we wanted to have the best possible day for us all. If one of us didn't make jury, it would have been bad. Right? So with the coaches, we all respect each other greatly. We're good friends outside the game, we're good friends in the game, typically. And we all respected that, and so I was under the impression, I think all the coaches were under the impression that, hey, a final 7 with us 7 would be bomb. Like, that would be hella fun. It would, no one's, like, then we do get out, and the best of the best wins. But the only one not on board with that is Thomas, who apparently thought it was, oh, we'll make jury and then everyone for themselves. Which I don't like, because if we're all in agreement with something, he won't say that until jury hits. Then it's, oh wait, no, it's just a jury, because it fits him better. He's playing his own game, and I don't blame him for that. But at the same time, I think the coaches, I hope a coach wins. I really do, because I think it's fitting. And they're the better players, ultimately. Even if another player wins Survivor, Big Brother All-Stars, whatever, the coaches are the best players. And are there anyone that's not?
This is an choice room.
Okay. Okay. So, it's just a lot. And so, I don't know. That's my opinion on the whole coaches thing. I think it's dumb for them to flip on it, honestly. But they didn't have much of a choice. But when one person's shading the coaches and one is being loyal to the coaches, personally I'd be taking the one who's being loyal to them, and that was me versus Thomas. And they apparently didn't see it that way. But I don't know what's going on in their heads, I don't know their game plan. That's them.
Okay, with the coaches being the final 7 is a lot. How would that have boiled out?
Well then, from there, it's a new game. You get to 7 and then you make inner alliances from there. That's what I was playing. I didn't try to make alliances. The only person I trusted more from the coach's side was Kate. Only one. Because besides that, the rest of them, while yes, I would love to play with them, I just want to work with because I've never been able to. I don't get to play with them often because I'm either hosting or he's hosting. This is only the second game that has happened since I've been around in which one of us did not host. And so it's a rare thing, and the other time we went directly against each other. So it's rare that we're able to interact, and so I wanted to work with them.
Okay. Had you been able to go back into the game, is there anything you think you could have done that would
Like
have
if I went back in time or went back in
went
right
back
now?
in time?
Went back in time. Talk to Sophie more, not throw Disinter's name, but everyone threw Disinter's name. So I don't get why that was such a big deal to Cynthia when all five of the other coaches, or 6 of the coaches were throwing Cynthia's name out. There's no point. And like, so I don't know why he had it so against me. Tom was the only one who didn't. And that's because Tom knew what was happening, because Tom was the one who proposed it. And
is there any alliance you would have made in that
I did.
would have been smarter for like the end of the game? Like,
I wanted to work with Sophie. I told myself that, but I just got wrapped up in what was going on in the game. And once I set an alliance, I get kind of set on that alliance. Like, I don't waver from it. And I didn't get it through my head that, hey, there's a flaw in this alliance, and which was if 2 of us go up, it's kind of obvious who's in the alliance and who's not. So that was my issue.
what was one of your biggest moves that made you sweeps?
I didn't do anything. Like, I was trying to lay low the entire half. I was going to wait until top 10 and then start playing hard. And I think the only move I've made was the beating Aaron out of veto, but that it's a veto. Like, what does that do? But so I'm trying to.
Wait, but he's taking this.
So I just don't want to spoil. I don't want to say anything that would make you all like feel different about people. Not you, but yeah. So I don't know. I don't think that I didn't make any moves. That's why I'm still like wondering what did I do to get out. And I think that's part of All Stars is no matter what, even a small flaw will get you out in All Stars. It's gonna happen.
So, I have two more questions. Okay, one, how did you think this game was gonna go, and is it going the way you thought it would?
It's going pretty similar. I think the only person, or there's like, no, it's just pretty much where I expected it to be. The only person that's in right now that I didn't expect to be here was Mary Kate. And that's purely because she's not a strong player. Honestly, like, she's a great player socially. She is friends with everyone. No one's going to target her. But she's not making moves. And I thought this All-Star game would have a lot more moves, a lot more, hey, this, and what Sophie did. And I appreciate it.
Well, I have one last question for you. Are you familiar with the American pop rock band Smash Mouth?
I am.
I figured.
One
do
song
you
in particular.
Right. Do you feel like a real all-star getting your game on and going play now that you have played in BB All-Stars and got great at?
No. And this is the reason, because my game never started. My game was supposed to start top 10, and I never got the chance to actually play the way I wanted to play. I wanted to sit low and not have this happen, but you know what? Fuck the plan. We're just gonna get Brody out for no reason, and I'm sure there's a reason behind it. I'm just oblivious to it. I would love to find that out in a few minutes, which will happen, but that's how it works. And so, it is what it is. We have to go from there.
Alright, well, you never shine if you don't blow, Brody.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
proud of you.
He's done.